Hello everyone, Sasriel here, bringing you the first video of my programming tutorial using Python and module Turtle. Now, for those of you that don't know, Turtle module or Turtle library provides us with a sort of like a drawing board or canvas on which we can, of course, draw using turtles. Now, as with all modules in Python, if you want to use them, you first have to import them. Now, you can use that, or you can do it using this method, or the other way around would be to use from a turtle import and everything using the symbol asterisk or the star. Now, if you do it this way, you actually have to keep in mind that all your existing functions, if you had ones, are going to be replaced by the turtle ones, because if you do it this way, you don't actually have to call the turtle module, the turtle library name or prefix before using any of the functions, modules, classes. But I'm actually going to stick to the basic one, I guess, and so I'm going to just use the import turtle, and I'm going to import it as TT just to save some time in the future. Now, if we want to draw something, we firstly need a screen or canvas or window to draw it on, right? In Turtle, we do that by creating a variable from the class screen, or pretty much the object. We initialize the object of the class screen. Now, other things I want to mention are methods setup and method. The other one is screen size. Now, what these two do, right now they didn't really do anything, but before I get into them, I just want to quickly mention the last one, which is main loop, and this just makes it so that the window stays open, stays running, even if we're not running it from idle, for example. And I think you need this method if you're running the script from IDEs, for other IDEs than idle, for example, such as PyCharm. Now, getting back to the setup and screen size method, I think right now if we were to, load up our script, right, we get this. This window was quite big, okay, but even if I didn't actually call those functions, it's gonna be the same, because by default these are actually called, or they aren't called, but we didn't change the size of our screen, right? Now, the setup function, actually what it does is the arguments we can use in it are width, height, start x, and also start y. Now, the width and the height pretty much represent the size of your screen in like pixels, right? But it doesn't actually mean that you will be able to draw on, like, this is your drawing, like your canvas size. It's just your screen size. Now, if we were to put 0.5 or point anything, it's gonna create a window of such a height that, or size or width, that it's gonna correspond to our screen size, our computer's screen size. Now, if I were to put 0.3, and then I'm going to put in 0.3 again, so as you can see right now, the window is much smaller, right? And also, now if I were to go into screen size on the other hand, and let's say I put 800 and 600 here, by the way, screen size takes in can width, can height, and also BG argument. This one actually represents the actual canvas size. As you can see, right now I got this scrolling bars right here. And so the actual size of this thing, it's something like this. This is 800 by 600 pixels. Now, right now we pretty much set up our screen, right, our canvas or window. So we could go ahead and start drawing. To do that, we need to first create our let's say our pen, and it's gonna be turtle, of course. So we're gonna create a variable called t1, and we're gonna initialize the turtle class again. And as you can see, right off the bat, we have this nice turtle. I actually have a different theme. It's called Classic. But we're probably going to have something which looks like this. This turtle right here. If you use different names here, you can get different shapes, right? But I'm just gonna stick to the basic one right now. And now we're gonna focus on methods that our turtle can use. As I said, we're gonna be using turtles to draw things on our canvas, on our screen. Now, the basic methods which we are going to use are going to be FD, BK, LT, and RT. Each one of them pretty much respectively represent FD is forward, BK is backward, LT is left, and RT is right. So as you can probably tell, FD makes our turtle go forward, BK just makes our turtle go backwards by a certain amount of pixels, both of them. Then LT and RT just rotate our turtle around the axis, and we use degrees to rotate it, which is really simple. Now, let's say we want to create a square, for example, right? Now, if you want to create a square, what do you need? You need 4 lines which are identical, and each, like pretty much the 2 neighboring lines are at a right angle, right, to each other. So, since I said 4 lines which are going to be the same, also 4, let's say, angles which are going to be the same, we can just go into for loop. We're going to say for I in range of 4, because squares have 4 sides, and then we're going to say that we want our turtle to go forward by a distance of 100 pixels, and then we want to say that we want it to go left by 90 degrees. Now, what this is going to do is to create a square, as you can tell. Now, well, that's cool. With maybe like a red square or a, I don't know, a yellow square with red outline, for example, or something. In order to change color of our pen, we need to use functions called pen color, then fill color, and also just color. Now, starting off with the pen color method, it takes arguments. The first one we're going to give it, is probably going to be color. Now you can use words, just like I'm doing now, and as you can see, the square is red. But you can also use hexadecimals. Now to do that, all you need to do is start with hash symbol, after which you follow it by the 6 numbers or so letters, doesn't matter because it's hexadecimal, of course, so it goes from A to F, and it goes in sets of 2, and each of them represents their respective RGB spectrum. So the first 2 are red, then the second pair is pretty much green, and the last 2 are blue. Now, since I said I'd like, again, red outline, I'm gonna go for FF00 and 00. You can see the same thing, the square is still red. But I'd like you to focus on the arrow or our turtle. As you can see, the outline of it, it's red, but the inside is actually black. That's because we didn't actually change our fill color. Now fill color is how our pen is gonna be filling things up when we call the begin fill and end fill functions, like in between those or methods. I'm getting those mixed up quite often, so sorry for that. And again, we can use a hexadecimal for this one, and let's go for a bit of a darker yellow. So let's go with CC and CC again and 00. Now, as I mentioned, you need to call begin fill. I think it's begin fill like this, and end fill. Yeah, okay, it's actually, there's underscore between fill and begin, and also end underscore fill and parentheses. So now, if I run this again, as you can see, we get a yellow square, kind of like a yellow, it doesn't really look yellow, whatever, with a red outline, right? That's pretty cool. But there's also the last function which I mentioned, and that's color. Now let's get rid of those, and let us call the color function or color method again. Now this time, let's say we're gonna say I don't know, let's go for science 00 ff and ff, and sorry, I typed in too many f's. And as you can see, we get a sine square, but it also has sine outline. That's because method color actually changes both the pen color and the fill color at the same time. Now, one more thing about the colors. If you'd like to change the screen color, you just need to go into your screen, of course, and call the BG color method. And again, you can use hexadecimals. And this time, let's go for grayish color. And as you can see, now everything is much clearer. The last thing I'd like to mention, last two things I'd like to mention are pen up command and also speed command or method. Now, the pen up and pen down, what these two do is that they the pen up method pretty much makes it so that the turtle doesn't draw when it moves, and the pen down does the exact opposite, and our turtle starts to draw, right? The cool illustration of that is that, let's say we get rid of the begin fill and end fill because we don't need those. We're gonna say that T1 pen up or PU or pen up, it doesn't matter which one you use. We put it right here, right? And now when we run this script, as you can see, our turtle did move, but it didn't create anything. That's because the pen was up. But let's say we're gonna put our pen down after the first iteration of our loop, or actually it's gonna be happening in each iteration. But after the first one, it's already gonna be down. And right now, as you can see, we're drawing, but we didn't draw the first line because during the first iteration, before this was called, this method was called, we actually had our pen up. So that's pretty cool. And as I said, the last thing is the speed method. Now, that one is pretty cool because, I mean, right now, as you can see, like, this doesn't take much time to create, right? But if you have bigger projects, they can take quite a long time, and especially the projects I'm going to show you in the next video, they will take a lot longer to create or to draw for our turtle. So for that, we're actually going to be using speed. And so you just say again, you taking your turtle object and then call the speed method. And now what can you input in the arguments? You can either input numbers from, I think, 0 to 10. I think you can input even larger, but 10 is, like, if you input 12, it's just 10. And so 0 is actually the fastest, 10 is the second fastest one, and 1 is the slowest. But if you don't want to use words, you can also use letters, or maybe words, should I rather say. And the fastest probably means what? That the pen is going to be the fastest it's going to get. But I'm going to just stick to numbers. I'm going to go for 0, and as you can see right now, if I run the script, it's instant, right? And if I were to go for 1, it's going to be slower. As you can see, you can follow it pretty easily with your eyes. The other way how you can change the speed of drawing, or just the final, if you want to see the final product, is to actually use a tracer method of your screen. Now, as I said, it's a method of your screen, so let me just do this. Okay, so it's called tracer, and it takes 2 arguments. The first one is it either goes true or false, or 1 or 0, whatever, and it pretty much turns on or off your animations of your window. Now, by default, they're turned on, so you can actually see how your turtle draws. But let's say we were to disable them, right? And the second argument is just delay, after which it's going to disable them. And now, let's say that at the end of our program, or just before the main loop function or method, we can either enable it again, or we can just update our canvas, our screen. And as you can see right now, it's just instant, like completely instant. So that's actually another way how you can speed up the process. But anyway, that's pretty much everything for me. So If you enjoyed watching this video, if you found this useful, just please like, share, and subscribe. But yeah, that's everything from me, so see you and have a nice day.